Lanterns episode 2, which I won't lie, I enjoyed a good half of it. I think episode 1 so far is the superior episode because what you have here is two halves of a story or two halves of an episode. One focusing on Hal and the other one focusing on John. And the Hal stuff felt just so information overload. It just felt so much info dumping and exposition dumping to the point it just felt super unnecessary. The hospital scene itself is a perfect example of it, where it's meant to be the scene where Hal and the sheriff are now seeing eye to eye. They understand where they stand. They both understand what they want and what their goals are. I get you, and they now have this full understanding. But in reality, it's just them, asking a question like, "Oh, if you knew there was aliens, why did you up my ass about it?" Like, and there's certain things with how that I'm like, "Oh, this scene's just there for the people who didn't realize that the father-in-law of the sheriff is bad news, or isn't as welcoming as he may appear." But it just felt like it's just one of those situations with the house stuff. It just felt like it just needed another draft. It just needed another cloak of paint. It just felt like so info dumpy. I was like, I'm kind of losing interest in what was happening in this episode with Hal. I know it will be important later on, but currently, right now, I'm kind of losing interest in it. Now, the stuff then with John. Now, Hal has given John a simple mission: go into my house, get my lantern because it's on 5% charge. It's like 5 to 10% charge. I need to just feed my pet plant. And then what happens is John gets captured. And that's when we get the important info dumping. I mean, Sinestro information is important enough, but this is a part that didn't feel info dumping. Talking about the Manhunters. When these guys are talking to John and him explaining who are the Manhunters, who are shapeshifters. They were the Green Lanterns before the Green Lanterns. They were the Guardians' first response to protecting the galaxy and having sectors and all that kind of stuff, but they went rogue and did their own thing. I get you. And that I was like, that's more gripping. That felt really good. And for those people who are upper arms, because there's a scene, and it's a really well done scene, where John is at a bar, and he bumps into the granny that he slept with in last week's episode, and they both talk about waste. And I can smell people saying that Green Lantern was never political. So people who know comic book lore, or at least know a little bit about comic book history, you might know what issue I'm going to be talking about here. But in April of 1970, the Green Lantern book was actually a Green Lantern Green Arrow book, a team-up book between Hal Jordan and Oliver Queen. And in this issue, it was about race, and in it, there was a scene where a man of African American descent walks up to Hal Jordan and says, "I've been reading about you, how you work for the Blueskins, and how on a planet somewhere you helped out the Orange Skins, and you've done considerable for the Purple Skins. The only skins you never bother with, the Black Skins. I want to know how come. Answer me that, Mr. Green Lantern." And Hal simply says, "I can't." He doesn't know why. And then Green Arrow, Oliver Queen, points to the Guardians, points to Hal Jordan and saying, "You should do better." Yeah. That's White Lantern. Apologize. Grapple in front of that walking mummy. You call yourself a hero, chum. You don't even qualify as a man. You are no more than a puppet, and the Gaians pull your strings. Listen, forget the chasing around the galaxy. There are children dying, honest people cowering in fear, disingenuous kids whipping up campuses. On the streets of Nemesis, a good black man died. In Los Angeles, a good white man fell. Something's wrong. Something's killing us all. Some hideous moral cancer is rotting our very souls. And you, sitting on your mud bell, pressing like a smug tomcat. How dare you presume the muddle of the affairs of humanity when human beings are no more than a statistic to you? And your crew, the Gaians, are asking Arrow how would they advise them? And Green Arrow sponsors. Cut off your belch. Touch, taste, laugh, and cry. Learn where they are at and why. So for all those people who are, when they see that scene of Oliver Queen, so where John is talking to that woman that he hooked up in the previous episode, and they're talking about their experiences and how, white people can do crazy things with their money, but, people of color can't. And you're crying that Green Arrow never went political. Talking about race is kind of one of the most popular Green Lantern subjects. It's one comic, but it's a popular one. But when it comes to this episode, I clearly just thought it was fine. Yes, the ending was kind of cool to see. Finally, we are diving into more space stuff, more of the cosmic side of things. We got to see Sinestro. We got to see Hal in the suit. Yes, we got to see all those kind of stuff. And hopefully, in the next few weeks, we kind of pick up the momentum. Maybe the momentum is kind of getting charged even more. But yeah, I just thought this episode was just fine. I just thought, this episode 1 was a little bit better, and I just thought the writing for episode 2 was a little bit weaker in certain places. But anyway, if you've seen the episode, comment below, let me know your thoughts.